Hello friends, welcome to our channel Knowledge Amplifier. So today in this particular video we are going to explore how different companies are understanding impact of different marketing campaigns, whatever they are running in the backend system, maybe just to make the customers aware about a new product, or maybe if they are launching some offers or any modifications in the existing product, the marketing team does a big campaign, right? They send the communication via different channel like email, SMS, push notification, WhatsApp, etc. So how to understand the impact of different marketing campaign using different big data services? That's what let us try to explore today in this particular video. Okay, so today's topic of discussion is email deliverability analytics using SendGrid, Snowflake and AWS big data services. So let us try to understand the problem statement first, and then we will discuss about the architecture, and slowly we will move to the implementation section, right? So suppose you are having a marketing team. Based on business requirement, the marketing team decided to send a particular communication to a certain group of customers via email channel. Okay, now once you executed that campaign successfully from your end, what are the possibilities? Like once the mail reaches to the customer side, some customers will open that email, right? That will indicate that the customers might be little interested. From the subject line itself, they try to understand actual content and try to explore more. So this opening of mail from customer side indicates that they have little bit of interest, right? Now suppose you have added some link in that email, and if the customer has clicked on that particular link, then you can easily understand that those customers are more interested to know more about the product, or they are trying to understand the communication what you shared in more better way, right? Now suppose some emails are bounced back. So most of the time bounce back happens because of wrong email ID. That email ID itself does not exist, might be that kind of thing can happen. So that time you can understand that these email IDs are corrupted email IDs. Maybe when customer shared that email ID, that itself is wrong. So you might be not using that same mail ID in the next campaign. Okay. Suppose someone has received the mail successfully, but the email is not opened. That means the customer is less interested. So these are different possibilities. Once you get all these kind of data, you can derive all these informations after your marketing campaign, right? So email deliverability analytics plays a very vital role. I hope you can easily understand. Maybe those customers who have opened the account, you need to make a follow-up with them just to make sure the customers start using our new product, etc, right? So the email deliverability analytics, how we can do using different AWS services, Snowflake, SendGrid, these kind of advanced tools, let us try to understand. Okay, so the problem statement, just a quick recap. In this project, we will set up an email deliverability analytics pipeline using SendGrid and AWS service. So AWS service is fine. Now what is SendGrid? So whenever you do a marketing campaign, suppose for example in this case you are sending via email, right? Now in customer side, whether the email is opened or not, whether in any link the customer has clicked or not, whether the email is bounced back or not, how you will know these informations? So for capturing those information, SendGrid is a third-party company which can help us. Okay, and many big organizations are using that. I will discuss about that topic also. So to start off, what we will do, marketing team will send mail from SendGrid to the recipients. Okay, recipients in the sense target customer audience, right? Now we will get response from email service providers, for example Gmail or Yahoo, etc. So whatever Gmail ID or Yahoo ID will be using to send the communication, SendGrid will capture all the events occurring their side, like for example whether it is delivered or blocked, or maybe for example bounced back, or it is in process state, etc, right? And then we could use these response data to improve our email deliverability by analyzing this email response data, which is pretty obvious. Like I explained earlier, the data analyst team, the data engineering team can analyze this data, and it will be very valuable for the next campaign or to grow the business, right? Now this is achieved by logging those responses which SendGrid is sending into Amazon S3, and then analyzing them using Athena or Snowflake, this kind of cloud data warehouse platform. So the question is how we can get the data from SendGrid to S3. That is the first question. So for that we can use webhook concept. So if you recall, in my previous video, I have already discussed about the fundamental intuition of Webhook, where Webhook is nothing but kind of API only. Just instead of polling, if some event occurs in the server side, server will automatically push that particular response to that post endpoint, right? That same concept is followed in SendGrid also. So the architecture can be shown like this way. Suppose here we are having our marketing team, and here we are having our SendGrid. Marketing team will use SendGrid to send different communication via Gmail or Yahoo, etc. So here send mail arrow is going. Now it is reaching to our customers or recipients, right? Now they are performing different events. For example, some of them might be opening the email, some of them might be after opening email clicking on some link, etc., etc. So all those responses our SendGrid will be capturing. Now for analytics purpose, we need to move the SendGrid data to our S3, and from S3 we can read the data in Athena or Snowflake table for analysis purpose, right? Now the question is, how from SendGrid we will move the data to AWS platform? The answer is Webhook concept. So we will expose one post API endpoint. That post API endpoint will be created using Amazon API Gateway. Okay. SendGrid will just make a post request along with the response data. Okay. Our API will get that, and then API will trigger Lambda. Lambda will put that data in Kinesis data stream. From data stream, it will be flowing to Firehose. Firehose will flush the data with year, month, date level partition to our S3. From S3, using event notification, using SQS, we will refresh our Snowflake external table, and from that table, our data analyst team in real time can understand the performance of that marketing campaign. That is, how many customers have opened the email, how many customers have clicked on the link, what is the impact of campaign overall. In this way, they can compute. Like for example, they can calculate a ratio that how many customers have opened the mail by how many customers have not opened the mail. So that can be an impact analysis of the campaign. So different matrices can be built using visualization dashboard like W, Power BI, etc., etc. from Snowflake Cloud Warehouse or from Athena, right? Wherever we are loading the data. So the thing is, this architecture means central point is SendGrid, which is capturing all the events, and then Webhook concept is also used. So you should have a clear idea about Webhook, which I already discussed in my previous video. If you are not aware about that, please go through the link given in the description box. And this particular pattern also I discussed in my previous video. That is, some event is triggering API Gateway, from there it is triggering Lambda, from there via Kinesis it is going to S3, and from there it is in real time getting populated in Snowflake table. So this pattern, if you want to explore in detail, for that also you can check the link given in the description box. Anyway, today also I will be performing these steps, but I will be going little bit fast in this particular area because already I covered this one. Now coming to SendGrid, what you have to do, you have to open an account. Okay. So if you go to SendGrid page, here you will see that it is showing deliver exceptional email experience with SendGrid. Okay. And many big companies, I told you, right, that they are using like Uber, Spotify, Airbnb, etc. Different big companies are using that. Okay. The specialty about the SendGrid is you can not only use this particular platform to send the communication, but the best thing is this platform captures all the events, whatever is happening in the customer end. Which customer has opened the email, which customer has moved their email to spam box, which customer has unsubscribed. Okay, that means they are unhappy. So all these things will be captured, right? And if we try to capture manually, it will be very complex process. But the SendGrid, which can act like our third-party platform, our partner or our vendor, they can provide us the data. Okay, right? So just I need to sign up first. I have already signed in. Let me just show you what are the places you need to take care of very seriously. So here I logged in my SendGrid account. Okay. So once you sign up, first thing what you need to do is you need to authenticate one particular mail ID which you can use for sending communication. Okay. All the customers to whom you want to send the communication, those mail IDs no need to be verified. But via which email address you want to send the communication, that email address has to be verified. Okay. So that verification you can go by simply going to settings, and then here you can click on sender authentication. Okay. So if you see here, already I have verified one, that is this particular mail ID I can use for sending communication to n number of customers. Okay. If you want to verify a single sender, just click on that, and then here all the things you have to fill up, and in that particular mail ID you will be getting authentication link, and once it is authenticated properly you can use that particular mail ID for sending the communication. As simple as that. Okay, then the second thing what you need to have is API key. So if we want to send the communication using SendGrid, we need an API key, right, to hit their API with the subject line, with the body part, to mail address to whom we want to send, and the from mail address which we verified. Okay, so for that you need to create an API key, which I already created. You need to save that API key because that is displayed only once. Okay, right? And then once you created API key, one very important configuration what you need to set up, that is in settings page only, there is a tracking button is there. So you have to click on that, and here the tracking you have to enable, open tracking, click tracking, etc. So if you enable open tracking, then what will happen, if some customer open the email, it will be tracked and SendGrid will send you the event that the customer has opened the email, like that. Okay, and those informations then you can use for analytics purpose. Then here I have enabled click tracking also. So if someone click that particular link available in the email body, then also we want to get the notification. So this tracking setting has to be enabled. And then see, as per the architecture, SendGrid received all the responses. Okay, now it need to send those responses to a post endpoint. So how to configure that post endpoint? For that, what you need to do, you need to go to mail setting. Okay, go to mail setting, and here you will see event webhook. Just click on that, and here you need to put that particular post endpoint where you want to send all the events. Okay, so in our case we will be exposing a post API using API Gateway, and our SendGrid will push all those customer events to that API, right? So API Gateway API creation we will come later. As of now, just for a simple demo, we can use online webhook tester tool just to test whether it is working properly or not. So I will go to webhook.site. Here I got this particular post API endpoint. I will copy that. I will paste that here. Okay. Here some more thing you have to enable, that is deliverability data. What are the events you want to receive? So here I want to receive all kind of events. For example, whether first SendGrid will process the request and then it will be delivering the request, if the mail is bounced back or if it is dropped, all these informations I want to capture. Similarly, with respect to engagement point of view, whether the customer has opened the data, whether the customer has clicked on any link available in that email. So all these I want to capture for business analysis. Okay, so I have checked all of them, and then all you need to do, you need to save this one. Okay, so now you have configured your SendGrid platform, right? Now we can use a simple Python code to send mail and capture all the email deliverability analytics. So where I will get the Python code help, that is also perfectly available in this SendGrid page only. Just you can go to email API, and here you will see integration guide. Just click on that, and then here you will get all different possible languages using which you can integrate. So recommended is web API. I will choose that. And then here you can see in number of languages. So I will prefer Python. So I will just choose that, and here it will give you a Python code help. Okay. So here you can see that we need to install this particular package, and we can use this particular code base. Okay. Just we need to make sure that in os.environment.get SendGrid API key, that is in our environmental variable, whatever SendGrid ID API key we will be using, that should be related to our account. Okay, right? So let's do a ad hoc test. So for ad hoc test, what I will do, I will run this particular code in my Google Colab notebook, and then SendGrid will publish all those events in our this particular post endpoint, and here by clicking those events we can monitor what are the things getting tracked, right? So here what I will do, here if you see the code, first I am installing SendGrid, so I will just run this particular cell, and then here what I am doing, I am importing the necessary modules as per the SendGrid documentation, and then from email address, from which email address I want to send the communication, which has to be verified also earlier, as I have told you, that I have written. Now in to email you can provide n number of email address. Okay, so here I have given two email address which are valid, like this one and this one, and I have given one invalid email address also, so that I can show you the bounce back event. Okay, whenever email ID is wrong, then it will show you in the event that the email ID is wrong. Okay, and then subject line demo for YT. I can maybe write this way, a dummy subject line, and HTML content. So here you should be keeping your body part. That can be a very big HTML, no problem. So as of now, I am just giving a very simple HTML content, that is email deliverability analytics using SendGrid and AWS Big Data Services. Okay. And so here what I am doing, I am using my API key to create the SendGrid API client, and I am using that client and send method to send the message. As simple as that. Okay. And then here I am printing the response. If exception occurs, I am printing the exception. Okay, right? So let's run this particular piece of code. Okay. And then let's see whether mails are received or not. So here it ran successfully. So as per this particular output, we can expect that to these mail IDs, the mail should be going with this particular subject line. Let's open those mail and see whether we received or not. So here I opened both the email IDs. Like if you consider this particular code, this is one email ID, this is another email ID, both I opened. This is anyway an invalid email ID, right? So here first let's go to the first mail ID, and here if you see in the promotion part, one mail came from satadru16bec0416@gmail.com. Email deliverability analytics using SendGrid and AWS Big Data Services, and demo for YT evening. Okay, that is the mail, came perfectly fine just now. If I go to my second mail, here if you see in the promotion, here also the mail came. Okay, but I will not open the mail. Let's see what are the events are captured by SendGrid. So SendGrid will publish those events in Webhook, right? So here we can see that 3 post requests came. So let's open the first post request. Here if you see this particular mail, this which is not existing, there it is showing the event is dropped and reason is bounced back. Okay, so that means this mail ID not itself existing. Now let's go to the second one. Here if you see that one mail ID, it is showing processed. First processing will happen from SendGrid side, then it will be delivering. So it is delivered, and then another mail ID also it has processed, and then at the end it has written delivered. Okay, so these kind of events are indicating that the email is delivered to this particular mail ID as well as this particular mail ID successfully. Now for this particular mail ID, which is basically ghinku12345@gmail.com, there I opened the mail, right? So we should see that particular event also. So here if you see another event came, just click on that, and here you see the same, that this particular mail ID has opened the email. So when business get this kind of responses, business can understand, okay, if a customer has opened the mail, that means he or she might be interested. Okay, so let me open the email for another email ID, and let's see whether another event is coming or not in this webhook. Okay, so here I have not opened this email yet, just I will open that. Okay, from the customer side I am just opening an email, but in the back end it is getting tracked, and in real time if you see here in our post endpoint, SendGrid send the data. If I open that, here you can see that this particular mail ID also has opened the email. Okay, right? So these informations are very valuable. I hope you are easily getting this. Now we can easily create an API using API Gateway, and we can build this kind of framework to test in Snowflake. Let me quickly do that so that we will be having a complete idea. So here this particular webhook site is no longer required. I can close this one, and then here I can delete this particular mail, or let it be as it is, not a problem. So what I will do, I will go to AWS Management Console, and first I will create a Lambda code. Okay, so if you consider this particular place, here the marketing team is using that earlier Python code what I discussed to send the communication. Now we need to create a Lambda code which our API will hit. Okay, whenever SendGrid will send the response, they will push the responses to our this API endpoint, and that API should trigger Lambda. That Lambda should publish those events in our Kinesis data stream, right? So let's see the Lambda code. So the Lambda code is very simple. It is kind of what I discussed earlier. So here if you see, this is the simple Lambda code. I am creating a client for Kinesis, and then here first event body part I am loading as dictionary data, and then I am iterating because it might happen that the SendGrid has sent multiple events as an array, and then individual data element we are dumping in Kinesis data stream. So for this particular demo, as we are doing POC, in our Kinesis data stream, we'll be having only one cert. So partition key 1 only I am keeping, and the data part I am dumping, and I am printing data inserted. As simple as that. Okay. So I will copy this particular Lambda code, and then here I will go to create function, some random name I have given, and then Python 3.9 execution environment I am choosing, and here I will create the function. Okay. So here our Lambda function got created. I will just paste this particular code and I will deploy. Okay. I need to make sure that one Kinesis data stream with this name hello testing, or maybe I can give hello testing evening, some random name, and then I can deploy and I can create a Kinesis data stream for it. Okay. So this Lambda is ready. Now we will create Kinesis data stream. So here I will go to Kinesis data stream, create data stream name I have given. As of now I am keeping provisioned, only one side I am keeping because this is just a POC, and here I will create the data stream. Okay, right? Then the next step is we need to create a Firehose. But before that, for Firehose we need a S3 bucket also. So let's create that S3. So I'll go to S3. Create bucket, Kinesis SendGrid demo. Okay, some name I have given, and then here I will scroll below keeping all other properties as default. Create bucket. Okay, so once the bucket is getting created, we can configure our Kinesis Firehose. Okay, but for Firehose we want to apply Lambda transformation. That Lambda will just add new line character in between successive JSONs. Okay, which we generally do in our Kinesis. So here if you see that Lambda I have already created. So here new line add a Lambda is there. That Lambda is just adding new line character. This is an old code which I discussed in my previous video also. If you just follow the prerequisite links shared in the description box, you can easily understand the code that I have already explained in those videos. Okay. And we need to make sure one more thing, in the configuration section of this Lambda, the timeout is bit high. Otherwise, Lambda might have timeout while adding new line character from Kinesis data stream. Okay, right? So you need to take care of that also. Okay, cool. Now here what we will do, our S3 bucket is ready. Now we will create a Firehose system. Create delivery stream. Source in our this Firehose, the source is Kinesis data stream, destination is S3. So I will choose that quickly. And then here Kinesis data stream I need to choose. Just now what I created, I will open that. And then here delivery stream name or Firehose name, this one is fine. Transformation I want to enable using the Lambda what I created, new line adder. I will choose that one. And then here destination S3 bucket already I created just now. Kinesis SendGrid evening. So this one I will choose. Okay. And then here buffer size I want to configure. So either if 2 MB of data is accumulated, or if 60 seconds is passed, whatever happens first, based on that the data will be flushed to our S3. Okay. And then I don't want to change other properties. I will create the delivery stream. Okay, right? So what will happen, that Kinesis Firehose will dump our data to this bucket, Kinesis SendGrid demo evening. Okay, right? So up to S3 it is configured. Now just we need to configure the Snowflake part. But before that, this particular Lambda, which will be triggered from API Gateway based on SendGrid event, there we need to give some access. Okay, so let me just make sure that access is given. So this is the one what I created, right? So here I will go to configuration section, and to avoid any permission issue, I will give some access to this particular Lambda role. So for safe side, I will give Kinesis access to this Lambda. Amazon Kinesis full access. Attach the policy. So the policy is attached, perfectly fine. And for this Lambda also, we will increase the timeout little bit. Instead of 3 seconds, maybe we will configure 4 minutes 3 seconds. We'll save this one. Okay, cool, right? Perfect. And then what this Lambda will do, this Lambda will flash the data in this Kinesis data stream, hello testing evening, and that stream is already active, hello testing evening. Okay, right? Now here the last step is we need to create an API gateway. in AWS. So I'll go to API Gateway. And HTTP endpoint I am keeping as of now. Integration Lambda I am keeping. Lambda function is basically this particular Lambda what we created just now. API name demo SendGrid marketing, some name I have given. Next, so I need to allow post request from SendGrid to this API, right? So I will go to next. Auto deploy I want to enable. Next, here I will create this one. Okay, so this is the info URL. I will copy this one. I will just save this for future tracking, and then I will give resource path also. So I will go to routes, and this is the resource path I need to provide. Okay, right? So our API trigger should be added to this Lambda, but it is not yet added. Let me just refresh this page and confirm whether trigger is added or not. So here API Gateway trigger is added, right? So here API Gateway to Lambda, to Kinesis data stream, to Firehose, to S3. This complete part is done. And in Firehose we added the Lambda transformer also. Now the next is in Snowflake we need to configure the external table where all the data analyst team can get all the campaign responses in real time. Okay. So for that here I have already written a Snowflake code. Even you can use Amazon Athena, not a problem. So I will copy this particular code. I will go to Snowflake. I will paste this one. So here first what we are doing, we are using account admin role. Okay. So here we are dropping a database if it exists, and then here we are creating a database, and then here we are using that database, and then here we are creating an external stage pointing to our S3 location where Kinesis Firehose will dump the data. So where our Kinesis Firehose will dump the data, that is basically this S3 bucket, right? So I will copy that particular bucket name and I will paste that here. Okay. And I am using access key secret key based authentication in between Snowflake and AWS, but we can use role based authentication also, which I discussed earlier. So here I will run this one and it is created. Now if I do list stage, as of now it will be empty. Okay, because in our this S3 location no data is available, which is perfectly fine. Now here we will create a file format for JSON. Okay, because Kinesis Firehose will dump JSON data, and then here we are creating an external table having the name person. Okay, or maybe we can give customer actions. That can be a justifiable name, customer actions. Okay, and that table will point to this particular snow stage where the snow stage is pointing to an S3 location where our Kinesis Firehose is dumping data or flushing data, right? And then file format also we are mentioning. Cool. So I will run that one, and then if I just do select star on this particular table, as of now it will be empty. Okay, only it will be having a variant column where all the JSON data will be coming, and then from that variant column we can flatten the data and data analyst can create different visualizations. So it is nothing but schema on read kind of approach we are following instead of schema on write. Okay, so here what we need to do, we need to configure a notification such that as soon as the data will be coming in our S3, automatically it should be getting refreshed in our external table. That alter refresh command we no need to execute manually, right? So for that what we will do, as of now if you execute then also it will be having no help because actually there is no data. Okay, so if I do select star you will be seeing no data. Now we can basically get that SQS ARN for this external table by executing show external table command, and that SQS Q ARN we need to configure in the S3 event notification, right? So this is basically the notification channel. I will copy that. I will go to my S3 bucket. I will go to properties section and I will configure the event notification. Event notification, create event notification, demo testing S3 SendGrid. Okay, and all object create event, all object delete event. Both cases I want to send the information to SQS so that it will be refreshing our external table. SQS queue I will be selecting, SQS queue ARN I will be selecting, I will be pasting that, and here I will be configuring save changes. Okay, so now whenever data will be coming to our this particular Kinesis SendGrid demo evening bucket, then due to this particular event notification what we configured, the data will be going to SQS. From SQS our external table will be automatically refreshed. Okay, so our data analyst team will be getting the email responses in near real time, maybe within 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, right? So here that is pretty much done. And then here to flatten the data, here I have used this kind of code, which I will come later point of time. So let's test it end to end first. So what I will do, this is my API endpoint. Here I have kept it, right? That API endpoint I will configure in SendGrid callback URL. So I will go to SendGrid, and then here if you see, I will go to setting, and then mail setting I will go, and then event webhook. Here instead of this webhook site dummy URL, now we are pasting our API what we created. Okay, so from that API the data will be coming to S3. From there it will be loaded to Snowflake, where data analyst team can do the impact analysis of our campaign. Okay, right? So here I will go a little bit below, and here I will save this one. Perfect. So it is done. Now we need to test it. So our marketing team is this particular Google Colab notebook, where they are sending different communications, right? So now what I will do, we will send same set of communication. So maybe I will change the subject line so that we can understand easily. Demo for YT post implementation, post lab. Just a simple subject line I have kept just for understanding or differentiating in between our previous dummy activity and this activity. Okay, and now what we will do, we will just run this particular code. Okay, so our code ran successfully. Now what should happen? Basically, in the mailboxes we should be receiving mails. So one mail we received, and in the another mail ID also here we received demo for YT post lab. Okay, so now two events, total 4 events should be generated. So whenever SendGrid try to send any information, first it process that request and then it deliver. So once it is delivered, that means we should get one event for processed and we should get one more event for delivery. So for both the emails, so total 2 multiplied by 2, 4 events we should be getting in real time to our Snowflake table. If we just do see, let's start from this particular table, we should get, but as of now it is not there. So let's see how the data is getting flown to our S3. So first what will happen, it will be triggering API Gateway. Okay, from API Gateway it should trigger Lambda. So in Lambda CloudWatch we should see that, right? So let's go to our Lambda. So this is the Lambda which is getting triggered by API Gateway, and it is flushing the data to our Kinesis. So here we can go to monitor section and we can check whether in CloudWatch something is getting printed or not. Okay, so here if I scroll below, see just now with the event time a log file got created. Just open that one, and here you will see some request it tried to process. Okay, so that means we can understand from SendGrid something got triggered and then our Lambda is executing something. So obviously in our Kinesis data stream that data should be coming. In our Kinesis data stream we can go to monitoring section, and then here we can check how many data points came. Okay, so here in our Kinesis data stream incoming data, I can open this particular matrix. Maybe I will configure to with each 10 seconds if we want to refresh. Here you see 1 data point came. Okay, if I just click on that, here you can see incoming record 5. So why 5 incoming record? Obviously one thing we can understand, 4 incoming records are fine because in 2 mail IDs mail came. That means for individual mail ID, 1 is processed, 1 is delivered. So total 4 events. Now one more event will be there, right? That is here if you see we are using 3 mail IDs. So this email ID, that email is bounced back. So that event also I think it is captured in the 5th event in our Kinesis data stream. Now from this data stream, the data should be flowing to our S3. Okay, so let's refresh our S3 and see here data came. Okay, I can open that one, go inside that, go inside that, go inside here, and then here this is a JSON file. So let's download this JSON file and let's see whether the data came properly or not. Okay, so here I will edit with Notepad++. Here you see 5 events are there. So first event is to this particular mail ID, the event is processed. Then for this particular same email ID, the email is delivered. Now for this particular mail ID, the event is processed. For the same mail ID, the email is delivered. Now for this particular mail ID, the event is dropped because the reason is bounced back. the mail got bounced back because this mail ID not even existing. Just I gave some random value just to show you that bounce back activity also getting captured. Now, what is the business value of this data? That business team, marketing team, or data analyst or data engineers will be aware that okay, next time I should not put this particular mail ID because it is not even within our customer base. Maybe customer has given some wrong mail ID. Okay, right? So these are the value additions. Okay, so here what is the importance of these events? That means these emails are delivered. Now delivered is fine. If some customer has opened the mail, that means he or she might be interested. Till now we have not opened any mail, so we have not got any event related to that. I will come to that, but before that let me show you in Snowflake the data got loaded automatically. So I will just query the table again, and okay, it should not be person table. Actually it should be customer actions table. Sorry for that. And let me just run it now and see here how beautifully the data got loaded. Okay, if I just click on one particular value part, here you see this is a nothing but variant column where all the informations are getting captured. Now this variant column you can flatten based on your requirement. Like here I can extract by parse JSON. I am extracting the email key and then I am trimming the double quotations beginning and at the end part. Then I am capturing the event type and then which IP has opened that, and if the email is failed then what is the reason, etc. I am capturing. Okay, so the table name is customer action. So I will just do that and let's run this particular code and we will be seeing the flattened data. Okay, just make it a little bit bigger. Here you see that for this mail ID and this mail ID processed as well as delivered, but for this mail ID it is dropped, the reason is bounced back. Now this gives us very good idea about our impact of marketing. So as of now you can understand that no customer has opened the email. Okay, if it is happening like that, maybe the business will request marketing team to keep such subject line which is very attractive. Okay, kind of clickbait type, so that the customer will at least open that email. Okay, so now let's open one email. Maybe I will open this particular email. So I as a customer this side opened the mail. Now this indicating that I might be interested to explore about the product. Okay, so this event should be again flowing to our system and then eventually coming to Snowflake in real time. Let's see whether it is coming or not. So here I will query the same data again. Obviously you can understand it is going to take some time. Even we can check in incoming data in our Kinesis data stream. So if I just refresh, so here if you see incoming record 1, so that means one record came. That is basically nothing but that event which we used to open the email. Okay, now what should happen? The data should be coming to our this particular S3 location. Firehose will wait either for 60 seconds or for 2 MB of data accumulation. When either of condition will be satisfied, data will be dumped in the S3. As simple as that. Okay. I will go inside this. As of now only one file is there. We need to wait a little bit. Even you can check the Firehose metrics also. So this is our Firehose, right? So if I just scroll below, here see records read from Kinesis data stream, that is one matrix. And here you will see that delivered to Amazon S3. This is basically indicating that whenever data is getting flushed to our S3. Okay. So as of now only one data point is there. When next time another flush will happen, then might be one more data point will be added in this matrix. So like that, in real time using different CloudWatch metrics, you can monitor your data pipeline also. That's the beauty of AWS, right? And this is how big data is used in different companies for marketing campaign. Data is very important, and if we get this kind of data, that what is the impact of our marketing, whether customer has really seen or not, that is very vital information, right? So this way our business can also grow. So I hope you are understanding the importance of big data concepts in marketing domain and business growth. Okay, and that's why the data engineering domain as of now it is in a very high position. The job requirement is very high. Okay, so here if I go inside this, so here if you see that one more file came. Okay, so here see two time are different. One is 9.3, another one is 9.9. Okay, so this is the latest file. Let's download this particular file and let's see whether that open event came or not. So edit with Notepad++. So if you see, it is showing that this particular mail ID has opened the email. Okay, right? This is the IP and all these informations are captured. Now we no need to do anything as a data analyst. Just data analyst will query the same thing. Okay. So same query when they're executing, here see one row got added and it is showing that this particular mail ID, this particular customer has opened the email. So till now one thing is clear, that in two different mail IDs the email is sent, but only one customer has opened the email. Till now this LM3117066, this customer has not opened the email. So let's open that particular email and let me show you that event will also be coming in our Snowflake. So here I clicked on that. Okay, and now this will generate another event. Okay, and if you wait a little bit in Snowflake, we will see that another row will be added where it will be showing that this particular email ID event type is open. It will be giving you the IP and reason will be null. So reason will be only coming if the SendGrid is not able to deliver the mail, etc. In those cases only, not for other cases, right? So let's wait for a few seconds to see that event is also coming or not. And with that, this complete pipeline end to end will be ready. Okay, and many companies can use this one, as I have already shown you. Uber, Airbnb, these big companies, Spotify, etc. also using SendGrid. So the advantage is you can capture all the events happening in the customer end. That's all. That's the beauty of this third-party tool. Maybe your team is using SFMC or Salesforce Marketing Cloud. I think they also having some functionality to capture all the events happening in the customer end. So those also in the same way, using callback URL, you can analyze those data in real time. Okay, just you need to follow this kind of architecture. Or even you can follow the architecture which I discussed earlier in my previous video, where the data will be coming in API Gateway. From API Gateway, it will be coming to an event bridge. From event bridge, based on rule, it will be going to different Firehose directly. No need to have Kinesis data stream there. Okay. And from Firehose, it will be dumping to S3. From S3, you can load it in Athena or Snowflake for query purpose. Okay. So in that case, we no need this AWS Lambda. Directly from event bridge, in a complete serverless way, you can put this data in S3 and do real-time analytics. So that is another approach what you can follow. So once you have experience with different architectures projects, then you can think about solving a particular problem in different ways, and then the concept will come in your mind that which one is optimized, which one saves the cost, right? So all these things matters for a good system design, and that's why there is a huge requirement of AWS solution architect or cloud solution architect also, because they can think about different architecture, and out of that, considering advantages and disadvantages for different pipelines, they can come up with the best suitable one for that particular business use case, right? So see here, another event came. Okay, that is this particular mail ID also has opened the email. Earlier only one event type open was there, but now two are there. I can show you that file is dumped in S3 also. So let me just refresh. See here, another file came at 9:12. Okay, so I can download this particular file and show you. Edit with Notepad++, and here you can see that this particular email ID has opened the email. Okay, complete marketing campaign impact analysis you can do this way. So this is all for this video. I hope you understood how to create an end-to-end email deliverability analytics using SendGrid, Snowflake, and AWS Big Data Service. If you find this video helpful, then please like, share, and comment. Subscribe our channel if you have not subscribed till now, and don't forget to press the bell icon to get the notification of our latest videos. Thank you for watching.